Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Equestrian Podcast. I'm your host, Bethany Lee, and I have Andrew Lustig here today. Today, we are going to be talking about one of the most highly anticipated classes and events of the year in equestrian sport. I am so excited to just unpack it all with you, but we have our co-founder here, Andrew Lustig, renowned judge, trainer, rider. He's so talented, so amazing, has been in the business forever, as well as Baran, who cannot be with us today, but the two of you have put together such an incredible event, so I'm so excited to talk about it. Tell me a little bit about how you kind of first got started in the horse world and a little bit of what you do today.
Well, I just grew up riding. I've been very lucky to have some of the best mentors and some of the best trainers. I've always been a hunter person, even when I was a kid. I love the hunters. Even when we were kids and all the kids would go to the Grand Prix, I would go watch the hunter race.
I love it.
So I always loved hunters, and Kristen has a very similar background to me. She also loves the hunters and always has basically been a hunter rider, and she's been champion at all the biggest horse shows, champion of the circuit in Wellington. She's been in the business for 50 years too. So we have so many similarities, Kristen and I, and that's really why we've become great partners.
I love it.
Yeah.
And her namesake, this event, which is the Baran Global Hunter Classic, is to take place this July, so right around the corner, July 11th through the 13th, in Valkenswaard, the Netherlands, which is so excited. I've never been to the Netherlands, so I'm
been
so
to the
excited.
Netherlands, but never Valkenswaard.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about how the two of you met and got together, and then, all the way up until this point where you started coming up with the concept of the Baran.
That's a great story. We started out having a team class. The team class was always my concept for the hunters moving forward. And we started out as doing a charity class. And that started not this year, but the previous year in Wellington, 2024. And Kristen came in as the title sponsor. We just hit it off really well. And I said, hey, Kristen, how about we do this at the Hamptons? And she was like, that'll be great. And then I sprung it on her. I said, well, actually, I'm doing these team classes because I'd like to bring it to Europe. And I didn't have any idea with how she would feel about the idea. But right from the beginning, she was on board. And we just had a similar vision about it. This has been my dream for 20 years to do this. To get someone else that believed in it with me has just been earth-shattering for me.
Definitely.
That she would do it.
Why do you think it is so important for our sport to bring it to a global stage?
Hunters are all bred in Europe. We all buy our hunters in Europe. It's a major financial boost for them as breeders and dealers in Europe. And there has never been a major hunter competition there ever. There have been many hunter competitions of more local in nature. It's so important that hunters come to the world, just like dressage, 3-day, jumpers. We have to do it too. We are amongst the largest majority in the USCF. We have to claim our spot on the world stage too.
Being able to experience the show jumping aspect of our sport at such a worldwide level, and the growth that it has experienced in the past 10, 15 years because of it, why you feel like having it at that level and kind of mirroring the jumpers would be helpful for the hunters.
The sport is growing exponentially, as you just said. It started with Jan Tops in Europe when he did the Global Championships Tour. He had this brilliant vision to take horse shows to the most iconic spots in the world. Monaco, Saint-Tropez, Cannes, at the base of the Eiffel Tower. He changed the horse world. And then they started it in this country, and it's called Major League. And they're doing the same thing here. They're doing a team event for jumpers, and they're going to iconic spots. What they're doing is they're getting corporate sponsors. For so long, our business has just been funded by the individual.
Definitely.
And for us to grow, we have to get corporate sponsors, and they're getting it in Europe, getting it here with Major League. So my vision is, why let the hunters be left behind? Kristen and I are really wanting to send that message.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Kristen and I have talked, you and I have talked, the sport is only getting more and more expensive, right? It's just kind of the reality. I think finding ways to not only make it more accessible financially, but just having a particular roadmap for the next generation of riders to follow, to know where they're going to get to the top level.
You're saying it perfectly. It's so a misunderstood concept what Kristen and I want to do. Everybody thinks we're making it more elitist, but we're doing the opposite. If the hunters continues the same way with the individual person having to buy horses, it is more and more elitist. If we get to a next level, to a higher level, to be seen by the world and not just the country, and we can bring corporate sponsors in, and those corporate sponsors start paying for teams to compete, then it's going to be more accessible to people because they'll be sponsored, just like they are in Europe.
Absolutely. It's so exciting.
We're not trying to do it to make, we're doing the opposite.
Yes. Yep. So, break it down for me. The Baran Global Hunter Classic. For people who don't know, tell me what you can expect when you go to Valkenswaard.
Or when you watch it.
True, yeah, live stream.
It on Clip My Horse or USCF Network. It's also going to be on GCTV. We're doing, and Kristen thought of this, so we're having 3 riders for our team for this event. And it's going to be a professional, a top U.S. hunter professional, a top junior amateur, and a top European rider. And Kristen felt very strongly that and it was funny because all the powers that be here just wanted American riders to go over, which is what I wanted actually, because I was like, oh, we're going to show the Europeans how American riders ride. And she said, if we're bringing it to Europe, then let's include them. So we're having a top FEI rider ride with the American riders. And what's going to be fun, because this first class, it is competitive, but we also want it to be fun. The top American riders are going to help not only the junior amateur, but there's going to be these top jumper riders, but they don't know about riding 100, so they're going to be coaching the European riders too, so it'll be a friendly way of the 2 continents getting together.
Oh, I love that.
And that was Kristen's idea.
I love that.
And I think it's great, because then they'll have skin in the game. The audience too, because the audience won't just be seeing Americans, they'll be seeing riders they know and riding hunters. So I think it brings it to them. It was brilliant for Kristen to say that, really, because then they'll appreciate it even more. So here's an opportunity for come to the horse show, see international riders they know, and see what an American hunter looks like in the flesh. So tell me what day 1 would look like. We're going to have an old-fashioned flat class.
Love it.
It's only 10%. So what we're doing is the 30 horses will come out. Then we're going to excuse 15 who are not the top movers. From the 15, this is what we did years ago in equitation and in hunters. We're going to start calling in. So the 15th place will come in. And then you're young, and so I don't know if you know this.
Like the hack off at Capital Challenge?
Oh, they do it there. Yes, exactly. And then the 14th, and then you get down to the bottom 2, and you might make them gallop or something like that. But the Europeans will be able to see, rather than just 12 horses out there and then you pin them, you can't see it as well. As they come in, they can keep seeing which is the better mover so that they can be educated. But that's only 10% of the class.
Side note, who are your judges, and how did you and Kristen choose who would be judging this event?
Well, we didn't. We got a lot of help with that from the USEF, the USHAA, and the WCHR, and from the rider. We have Hope, I have to hold my fingers up. We have Hope Glenn from the West Coast, Archie Cox from the West Coast. Then we have Bob Crandall, East Coast, Shane George, Midwest. And then we have Rachel Kennedy, East Coast. And then we have Adeline Heckart, and she is our French judge.
Nice.
They'll sit together as pairs, and they'll throw 3 scores. And the other thing that's interesting about our scoring is there's a drop score. So if somebody has a rail, if someone has a refusal, the team could still win. The top pro with the highest score is going to be awarded a ribbon and $10,000.
Wow.
The top amateur or junior with the highest score, same thing, $10,000. And the top FEI rider, so they have a chance also.
Nice.
So it gives them incentive.
Yeah.
So they each get $10,000, but they'll also stand up on the podium and be recognized.
What else is happening day one?
Day one, see, we're not starting with the flat. We're going to jump. That is going to be ribbons for everybody, but it's not going to count towards the class because it's a very hard, different venue. It's out on the grass field where we don't show a lot. So we want the horses to have the experience, jump the course, get comfortable, and that's not going to count, but that's going to be pinned as a single class. Then, after they jump, they'll flat. That's going to count for 10% of their class. And you can, if this is confusing, you can't remember all this stuff, you can go to the Baran.org, and this is all in writing.
Yeah, so it's like all outlined.
On Saturday, we have a regular hunter course, but it's going to be a big, almost like derby course, 14 jumps, 13, 14 jumps. And that's 40% for a hunter course. And then the last day is going to be a handy, and that'll be 50%. We are going to stress on the course board. Kevin Holdwack is our course designer.
Nice.
He was course designer of the year. And I just want to talk about the jumps for a second because I'm so excited. One of the things we're like, the field is so big, you can't have regular hunter jumps up there because people literally won't, they'll be like,
Everyone has binoculars.
One of our jumps is 32 feet wide.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool.
And it's just a hedge. It's just
beautiful.
green.
Wow.
So you won't have any trouble jumping the middle of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't even know in the middle.
Got about 12 feet of middle.
Yeah, there's plenty of middle. And most of the jumps are 16 feet wide.
Nice.
And that makes them very jumpable.
So tell me, let's talk prize money.
It's going to be 300,000 euro.
Wow.
And what's exciting is the euro is going up and up against the dollar, so
Nice.
all the American riders.
Yeah. Right.
But the prize money will be awarded first through six.
The competitors amongst themselves putting the teams together, or how is that organized?
Some teams came to us put together, and some teams were just helping because it's hard to put a team. I mean, they don't know all the European riders, or their junior or their amateur can't come. And Andrew and Kristen, can you help find us a junior or an amateur? So we're all putting the teams together. We're all as a group putting the teams together.
I know it is coming up very quickly.
Yes.
But are there, if anyone is listening and maybe they're an individual, are there still spots available to compete?
We just need a couple of juniors or amateurs.
Okay.
Yeah, basically all the pros are pretty much on board.
Okay.
So we're fine with that.
Yep.
And it's just a little harder to find junior and amateur.
Our team has done a little bit of flying when we go cross country, but tell me a little bit, because obviously that's going to be a big component and probably a frequently asked question for competitors with horses and shipping and quarantining and all the logistics that go into bringing a horse over.
I'm going to get on my soapbox. And I'm a hunter person too. So I didn't know about flying horses, I have to be honest, except for flying our horses over when we buy them. I'm an East Coast person like you are, and you on your team do actually fly, but it's been much easier for me to put teams together on California's side than the East Coast. And it has to do with flying, because they fly to Devon, they fly to Capital Challenge, they fly to wherever they fly.
Yeah.
They fly all over. My jumper friends were telling me, Andrew, the horses do so much better flying than they do trucking. So I started doing research about it. Some of it has to do with they just don't get bounced around as much.
Right.
So that made sense. But that's not the major component. And I didn't know until I started doing research, because a lot of the East Coast people were saying, well, we have Derby finals, which is a month after Valkenswaard. And I was thinking, well, the jumper riders, they go to China, and then they go to Mexico City, and then they go to Europe. And then I had the jumper riders saying, well, Andrew, our horses get off the plane and jump the Grand Prix.
Right.
Your horses are jumping 3'6".
Yeah.
You know? But I was like, but a lot of the riders and a lot of the owners are very concerned about their horses flying. So this was very interesting to me and something I don't know, and I'm happy to tell you. A lot of the reasons the horses do better and it's not as stressful on them is in a truck, you can't open the windows enough for proper ventilation. Because if you were to open the windows, then things could fly into the truck. And in a plane, it's just normal ventilation because of the way they're ventilated.
Yeah.
So the horses can breathe better, actually. And that is really what has a lot to do with it and why they do. And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so luckily we have this great guy, Lucas Porter, and he's a Grand Prix rider. And he is our broker, and he's been calling all the people that are concerned and explaining to them how flying horses is much easier than trucking.
So I know you're not sharing every single detail. Some of it will be a surprise, but can you share any of the horses or riders that we can expect to see being in the Netherlands in July?
Well, I feel like you're asking me, and I've got to get up at the Academy Awards and name every horse and every rider, and there's so many of them. We have like 30, and obviously I can't go through all of them right now. I just have to thank John French and Liza and Jeffrey Brendan for being behind me, saying, yeah, we'll go, and we're all in, and we're going to help you. And they've been the 3 people, and there's other people. Don't be mad at me. It would take me all day. But they, from the beginning, I went to them right in the beginning, just because I know them more than I know some of the other people in the horse business. And we have to thank our team. We have Chris Sorensen and all the people that work for him, and his brother and his wife, who are in the Netherlands. They live there, and so they're working over there to help us.
Yeah.
And over here we have Mike Belisle, who's going to do horse show management, and Pat is going to do the in-gate.
So
and we have
good.
a steward going, and all the judges that are going, and we have commentary. Bobby Reibers, unfortunately, she hasn't been well, but we're excited that she'll get better and come.
Jimmy Toronto.
Jimmy's going to do it here.
Nice.
With Clip My Horse, and Amanda Steege is going to come help
Nice.
us too. Yeah.
Oh, great.
And she's been very supportive.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be,
So
it's such a
she's
great team.
Because she knows everybody, and Bobby knows everybody. They wanted in Europe to have not just a commentary online like we normally have, but they're going to be doing commentary so everyone in the stands, so they're going to be saying stuff that a lot of the Americans, like, oh, that's a cross canter, because in jumpers you can cross canter. And for us, that's a lower score, because someone might say, I thought that horse was beautiful, and like a jumper can cross canter and win the Olympics, so they're going to try and educate the audience. So they're not going to just be doing it online. Jimmy's going to do it online here, and then they'll be actually educating the audience as it goes. So I think that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because
so many times, you're wondering, like, oh, why was it that score? That's not what I was, that's not what I put in my head as the score, or something you don't see. Or what a lot of commentators talk about is how, their angle might be different than where the judges are standing, and you see a whole different view.
They'll have all that. And they know all the horses, and those two know. I can't keep up like some people. Maybe you're good at it, but I can't keep up with everybody.
I rely on my team. They're like the horse and rider encyclopedia.
Oh, they are. Yeah. Yes, they are. I'm not like that. I'm in my own little world.
Same.
So I don't. Yeah. Oh,
Same.
you are too?
Yep.
I can't keep up.
As you and Kristen have been ironing out what this first inaugural event will look like, what do the two of you envision the Baran tour looking like, a few years down the road?
We are so excited to talk about that. Let's say you have 10 teams, and those 10 teams each have 6 riders. Let's say we have a horse show in California, and only half of the riders are in California and half of the team is on the East Coast. Well, then the East Coast people can't get there, so your team can still compete in California. So any of the 6 people can compete at any of your horse shows you have around the country to get points.
Nice.
So and that's what they do with the other teams.
Right.
So you can interchange them, or maybe someone's horse goes lame. So let's say your horse goes lame, or someone gets sick, or someone breaks their hip.
Yep, it happens.
Those things happen, and you want to have other people on the team, so your team can still get. So one person drops out, but that doesn't mean you can't be champion of the whole year.
Right.
The exciting thing too, and we haven't talked about this, is the ponies could have a team.
Yes. Oh,
they could
how
have
cool.
a small, medium. I think those little kids would love it.
Looking ahead, think of the experience that young riders could have being able to do that at a younger age.
Yeah. So the goal is to have 4 to 8 horse shows where you get points. And then we want the finals actually to be here. That has to do with scheduling. So in Europe, our end of the year, it's October. It's late in the year. Europe's already getting cold, and their major horse shows are ending.
Right.
They're starting to do their indoor shows, which we have here. So we'll want to do a finals here, somewhere exciting. Europe will be in the spring or early summer. What they've done in jumpers sometimes to incentivize people to go over there is you can get maybe double points if you show in Europe. Mm-hmm. Because if people are making a much bigger effort, and that helps people to go over there. Europe can be in the spring, April, May, June, July, something like that. And then we'll do a finals here.
What are you most looking forward to for the first event in Valkenswaard?
This is going to sound really weird, but I'm really looking forward to people having a great experience. And I don't actually want it to be like the Hunter Spectacular where it means so much to win. Now, of course, it's great to win, and we all want. Who wants to lose? Everyone wants to win. But I really want it to be an experience like we're already talking about. Normally we go to a horse show and we're working from 6 to 6.
Totally.
We have one class a day.
Yeah.
And plus we're going to be there earlier in the week, and we're going to have one horse for every rider.
Right.
We're talking about going into Amsterdam because it's only an hour and a half, and going to the Van Gogh Museum, and maybe then a nice restaurant. So we want it to be a nice experience for everybody, and people can come with their families, and some of the families are taking a trip after they're in Europe. Some of the families are taking a trip before they get to Europe. And so we want it to be a nice experience, and we want to have that camaraderie with the professional, the junior amateur, and the European, and so we come together. I want it to be fun.
Yeah. Some of my favorite horse shows to like work at or attend are Global Champions Tour. I think of Miami, because we only have 1 or 2 horses, and then the rest of the day you are enjoying yourself.
At the VIP table.
Exactly.
Every team has a table of 8 that you get. Everyone from the team can go to the VIP. You know, in some horse shows, you have to pay a lot of money to go to the VIP, and not everyone can go. And so it's going to be really nice. That's why I said I wanted it to be fun. I want it to be a great experience for everybody, so they'll want to keep doing it.
Right.
All the hunter riders are saying, oh, well, my horse is going to have to be in quarantine. No, they don't have to be in quarantine. Otherwise, the jumpers would never get from one show to another, because the horses are going from site to site. They're going from your farm to the horse show. They can't leave the horse show. They have to stay at the horse show, and that's why they don't have to be in quarantine when they come back.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on and just laying everything out. I think it is something that is so needed in the horse world, and I'm so excited to attend and be a part of it too. But thank you again for even just you and Kristen taking the years that you've already put into this and this project and what it's already turning into. I'm so excited to see it.
Well, Kristen and I have to thank you, because you're also one of the people that are behind us, and you're helping us with your social media and with your podcast. And for all of you who don't know, Bethany will be in Valkenswaard.
Yes, I
and
will.
She's going to be helping us there, and we're going to desperately need her. I'm going to be crying on her shoulder a lot. So thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.